doesn't make sense, man. They are attacking our freedom of speech.
Of this new law singles out young white men as the most likely perpetrators of hate crime, and singling out any ethnic group or indeed gender, which
Yes.
the wording of this law does, is
Exactly.
against this law. So the wording of the law itself is committing its own crime.
It's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here again today on this beautiful day, guys. Today, guys, we are going to talk about the Scottish hate crime bill. Okay, I checked it out today, and what I want to say is that even though the idea behind it sounds good, it's actually a pretty decent idea. But one thing I want to say is goodbye free speech, adios free speech in the UK, adios. Okay, there are some flaws in it, but I'm not going to go into detail because my man Jonathan Pye has addressed it. Okay, Jonathan Pye is a legend when it comes to satires, when it comes to speaking the truth as it is. Jonathan Pye is the man. So today, guys, we're going to check out what he's got to say about this. Okay, and then we'll talk about it a bit at the end. Let's get this started, guys. As usual, we're going to smash like first and then do this.
These new laws, which came into force yesterday under the Scottish hate crime bill, allow for jail sentences of up to 7 years to be imposed on those convicted of, quote,
7 years jail time, yeah, if you're found guilty for using any of the terms, yeah, well, basically for breaking the Scottish hate crime bill in private, online, basically on YouTube videos as well. Even if you're an activist, like you, once you break that law, 7 years.
Jail sentences of up to 7 years to be imposed on those convicted of, quote, stirring up hatred against protected groups. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Sounds like a good bill, doesn't it? I mean, who doesn't hate hate crime? You'd have to be a really hateful person to hate a hate crime bill, wouldn't you? The only people who don't hate hate crimes are Nazis and children's fantasy authors, right? You know, of course, very difficult for a Guardian reading politically middle-of-the-road twat like me to have a pop at hate crime legislation, because if I do, all the Guardian reading politically middle-of-the-road twats like me will come out the woodwork and go, well, he just wants to go around punching trannies, doesn't he? You know, you suggest that this piece of law is fucking absurd, and people accuse you of wanting to spit at fat people when they're taking up too much space on the pavement. And yet, just the briefest of looks at the details of this new bill, you begin to see that it is, at best, massively ill-conceived, frighteningly vague, and therefore scarily open to abuse, utterly unworkable, and almost certainly unpoliceable, and at worst, an unthinkably draconian and insidious piece of legislation that...
Wait. Like I said, he nails it, yeah? He nails it. He's just so blunt, straight to the point. That's why I really like him. I love listening to this guy.
Utterly unworkable and almost certainly unpoliceable, and at worst an unthinkably draconian and insidious piece of legislation that attacks the civil liberties of anyone stepping foot across Hadrian's Wall who expresses an opinion that doesn't fit in the very narrow Overton's window of what so-called liberals would call acceptable. Under this law, you can go to prison for something you said privately in your own home. Someone else can hear what you said second-hand, then take offence at what they've heard you've said privately, and then report you to the police for something you said to someone else in private. And
where is the freedom of speech? I said to you guys, adios to freedom of speech. People can take things out of context and you're done for 7 years.
Reporting it to the police is being openly encouraged by the government, and we're being told that these new laws are supposed to promote tolerance. And even if they decide that a crime hasn't taken place, it could still be recorded as a non-hate crime incident, which will go on your record and be available to potential employers without your knowledge. The
Oh my.
extremely overworked police now investigating non-crimes. This is an absurd state of affairs.
Non-crimes.
Joseph assures us that these new laws aren't open to abuse and then throws the police under a bus by saying it's up to them to decide how the law is enforced. And he himself has already been reported to the police for a hate crime under the very law he's just brought in, because the wording of this new law singles out young white men as the most likely perpetrators of hate crime and singling out any ethnic group or indeed gender, which the wording of this law does.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I said to you, spot on. Very, very spot on. Spot on. Wow. Jonathan Pye makes just so much sense.
Of this new law singles out young white men as the most likely perpetrators of hate crime and singling out any ethnic group or indeed gender, which the wording of this law does is against this law. So the wording of the law itself is committing its own crime.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like his attention to detail is second to none. Like, the law in itself is breaking the law.
Crime and singling out any ethnic group or indeed gender, which the wording of this law does is against this law. So the wording of the law itself is committing its own crime.
Contradictory.
They really haven't thought this through, have they? Yeah. And whilst we're told that comedy venues or theatres would not be specifically targeted by police, their training material says that public performances of a play is one of the ways abusive speech can be communicated, and it is possible for actors and directors to be found liable if certain protected groups find the performance offensive or inflammatory. Technically, an actor can be convicted of a hate crime for playing someone who incites hatred. Someone playing Hitler can now get done for being a Nazi. A straight actor playing a gay character could be deemed so offensive that they could conceivably get arrested. And if a comedian tells a joke that, heaven forbid, punches down, he could be facing 7 years in prison, which is the thin end of a very dull, boring wedge where all art is dead in favour of identity politics-based dogma, where people go to the theatre and comedy clubs, but there's nothing on, so you just have to sit there and discuss intersectional feminism whilst burning DVD copies of Brokeback Mountain. And of course, the police aren't going to target performers. They just have to wait for someone to complain about it, because there are hubs or official reporting centres.
They have to wait for people to complain. Oh my God. People complain sometimes even at how you look at them. Or they look at them in a way, they say, oh, he's looking at me in a certain way. That is a hate crime.
And of course, the police aren't going to target performers. They just have to wait for someone to complain about it, because there are hubs or official reporting centres where you can report these hate crimes. One of these hubs being a well-known sex shop in Glasgow. Just for your convenience, you can rat on your neighbours' unsavoury opinions about immigration whilst buying eye-wateringly abusive pornography. You can report Ricky Gervais for a hate crime whilst buying a dildo.
The first person that came to my mind was Ricky Gervais. He was the first person on my mind. I was like, yo, Ricky, well, I guess he's not going to be performing in Scotland. And very soon, maybe in the whole of the UK, he might just need to move to America before America, you know, pass the bill as well. All right, freedom of speech has been targeted. It's been destroyed. It is being killed. It is being killed. It is unfair.
Sex shop in Glasgow. Just for your convenience, you can rat on your neighbours' unsavoury opinions about immigration whilst buying eye-wateringly abusive pornography. You can report Ricky Gervais for a hate crime whilst buying a dildo. It's a funny wee world we live in.
Indeed.
That's my Scottish accent. Is doing a terrible Scottish accent a hate crime? Probably is now in Scotland. Which I'm not, so fuck it. Here comes a Highland granny, great big tits and a hairy fanny. Thank you. Protecting vulnerable people from abuse is an essential role of government and the law, but some are saying so.
This guy is so funny. I find him very hilarious, okay, and very informative. He's very knowledgeable, all right. The way he dissects information, his articulation, he's just put on his delivery, everything is right. Like he drops it so very well. To be honest, I went through it. Yeah, I went through it, and the first thing I just put out was there are so many loopholes in this. So many loopholes. People can take things out of context. In fact, you're not allowed to say certain things. There's no freedom of expression. You can't speak how you feel. All right. Sometimes people say things without meaning to be malicious, but they want to express themselves in a way, and that's it. You're done. And you could misgender someone. Yeah, you could easily misgender someone. One time, long time ago, when I was working in a hotel, I saw some gentleman come to me. Yeah, when he got closer, he looked like a lady, so I wasn't sure what to call him. So I was like, hello, sir, madam. I was so confused. Like, I was so confused. And I was new then from Africa, and I was looking, I was like, what's going on in this country, bro? Yeah, so I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, sir. Sorry, take your, yeah, there. Huh. It's insane. So after saying that, I could have just gone to jail for 7 years and that's it. Nah, man, I think they need to review this and like make it more robust because it is quite vague. All right. Anyway, thank God I'm in England. So, guys, I'm in Scotland now, so nothing can be used against me right now. But it is nah. I think it is an attack on freedom of speech. Okay, that's how it looks and that's how it sounds. Anyway, guys, it's been your boy. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Okay, Jonathan Pi has already said everything. I don't think there's anything else I've got to add to this right now. So do let me know what you think about this in the comment section. But to be honest, doesn't make sense, man. They are attacking our freedom of speech. Peace.
Oh, I love you more than words can say. You are me. Oh, you are the light that shine in my way. You are me. Oh, I love you more than words can say. You are me. Oh, you are the light that shine in my way.